Hello, good afternoon. Watching The New Way of Being, hosted by Avatar Galextra on Facebook Live.
Or on your
On
YouTube.
YouTube Live, please excuse me.
Yes.
Facebook is not doing too well. They're not showing what we are doing. They're using whatever the United States government tells them to do. And so whatever we send out there, they are putting it, turning what we have done, what we're speaking about, to uh, let people think that we don't know what we're saying or we're lying or not quite sure.
Distorting the videos and the audio.
Yes, we're not doing that. What we're doing is letting you know what we have been going through in this society and in the United States. And what the United States have been doing is attacking and abusing me for no reason, telling these Mr. Trump and Mr. Trudeau to kill out my family and set them up to do damage to our daughter, have cut off all her hair, cut off all my hair, and he's still been cutting it ever since. So my hair, every time it gets a chance to grow a little bit, he cuts it all off, and it now the plait that I had that was very thick, almost as thick as this arm, this wrist, and in one plait. That's much later after that he cut out a lot. It was much bigger. This is what Mr. Trump has been doing to help the United States government, who wanted African people like me to not have hair, so that we look like people that should be thrown out in the garbage. And whether they have hair or not does not mean that they should be thrown in the garbage. All beings have a right to be treated respectfully and responsibly. What they're doing is using people like Mr. Trump and his friends to go and chop off people's hair, to put marks on their faces, kill them, do all kinds of damage, steal their things, set them up to go to jail. A lot of different things are taking place that many of you are not aware of, because you all are confined into systems that are controlling how you think, how you feel. And you're watching all kinds of evils on TV. You're watching evils on different displays, and you don't realize that that is taking a bigger toll on your own lives. And the systems are now using these evils to do damage to human beings like us and many other nationalities all nationalities have a right to live. But if they're doing damage to others, that is not the right way to live. Because if you want to be respected and treated with the utmost respect, as you see some people are, then the only way that can be done is by treating everyone with that same respect, rather than having people around you that you are telling nice things to and you really don't believe it and don't like them, but you're telling them nice things because you have to work with them. And then the ones in the public that you don't like because they're too African or too Hispanic or too or Oriental or Asian or whatever nationality, all of them are precious to our world. And if you do not treat them in that same kind of treatment that they have a right to, then you're robbing these people of their rights to create a society that they normally would have been doing, had it not been for the torment and torture that they have been going through by governments who cares nothing about them and is using the police, using other systems to literally control and destroy people of color. This is not right. And they're doing it to the Oriental people, the Indian people. They're doing it to different nationalities that should not be treated in this way, even Hispanic people, of which I'm a part of. I'm part Hispanic, part African, part lots of different nationalities, European included. And the point is that I don't look European, I don't look Oriental, I don't look all these different things, but I have many of those aspects in myself. All of you are my family. I gave you all your lives. I am the one who care about what happens to you. Not only myself, but my family, who have been tormented and tortured just like me. Our daughter, fantastic human being, brought up well, terrorized, persecuted, rubbed off her hair, attacked her teeth. Mr. Trump was doing that to please the United States government. Attack her teeth on both, did the same thing to me. And I did not realize that this is what was being done to our daughter and to me also. They also attacked my husband. And then after a while, decided that they were going to give people the impression that my husband is superior to me and better than me
Because I'm a man.
because he's a guy. And that's how they create problems for families by setting up one against the other, turning on the kids, using other children to beat up on the other children. Believe me, all of that is going on in school systems. Keeping the family busy at work and nobody to train the children, so the children are growing up and going to work and finding themselves behaving as bad, some of them as bad as many of the adults in the systems, in the schools. Teachers mistreating children for being a color, robbing them of their rights and their right to learn how to be their best selves. That's all they had to do, and you would have seen nice children all over the place.
Mm.
You mistreat them, you set up other people to persecute and terrorize them. What you're going to find is tyranny in your society, and that is what is happening. Stop allowing human beings to run other people's lives that are already looking after their own kids and developing the art of loving and caring about all beings because of it. They cannot do that because you have systems that are supposed to be run by governments who have not a clue about how to treat people, especially the ones that are Caucasian and Caucasian European. They are creating this problem. Not all of them are. Make it, I believe this or not, is the truth. Not all European and Caucasian people are behaving in such a manner. There are those who are truly genuine, caring, respectful, responsible, and they will help you at the drop of a hat if they can. Not all, but too many are not doing that. And for the ones that are not doing it, they're terrorizing people of color and other nationalities. They're terrorizing children, persecuting the family, keeping them in work, and failing to recognize that in order for the children to be able to grow up as decent people, as well as the adults, they are being blocked from all of that. They don't have their family helping them as the family normally would. And the only way that people will grow up to be the qualities that they were born to be is when we are allowing the families the right, which is their natural born right. No government has a right to be telling the family, you must work with us and work night and day, or even work at a certain amount of time that should not, is just too much. And you can't look after your children. And then these are the children that are growing up and they're putting in jail because they created the scenario for them to be able to get in jail after a while. And they can make some money doing that. Now they're using different countries. They created COVID-19 with that impression in mind to kill off millions of people.
A third of the human race is supposed to die through this COVID-19 pandemic.
And the governments are responsible for this kind of behavior that is being done to others. Nancy Pelosi set up Mr. Trump and Mr. Trudeau to kill out my family. Not only did she do that, she did it in front of me. Or because of my psychic ability, I was able to hear it from a distance. These are things that I have been seeing and going through all of my life in the United States. I've been terrorized, persecuted by Nancy Pelosi, by those who told her or was a part of it that I don't know about, that I know now, some of them. These are the people that are now governing the United States, and they are crippled because they are not really there for the public. They will lie and cheat and get away with all of it. And then when they think that they have done you in enough, they come and they laugh, or something happened that explodes Mr. Trump and threw him from one end of the room to the other upstairs, which is the third floor. Right above us. He went to stay there so he can terrorize and persecute us because Nancy Pelosi, President Biden, these are the people that are helping Mr. Trump to do damage to us. This is the man that I put my thumb up because he has the ability to be able to run the government with intelligence, with help for the people, and instead he did the thing.
President Biden?
President, yes, he did the wrong thing because he started doing wrong things with Nancy Pelosi and others that is causing the problems for this family and for many people in the United States of color. For look at, for instance, look at how did the police rest his knee on this man's neck? This is the second or third time it happened.
No. This what?
No, no, okay, just yes or no.
No. No.
These are things that are happening in the society in the United States, and you all need to wake up to this reality because a lot of people, especially people of color and other nationalities, are being terrorized, persecuted, and they do not have anywhere to turn to get the help that is needed because those that are in charge are the ones who are setting up a lot of the things to happen, like that neck problem with that young man who was literally killed for being African.
George Floyd, lynched publicly.
Ladies and gentlemen, you need to take things more seriously and start looking. You don't have to believe me. Start looking and listening and watching at what is going on. Well, same looking and listening. These are the things that are going to clue you in. That's why they want to keep everyone busy so that they can continue to terrorize, persecute, and kill as many of us and other nationalities as they choose to. And you could do nothing about it because you don't know much of what is going on. You need the education, not in the school system. The school systems are not only there to keep you busy and your children busy so that they can continue to demonize and persecute and kill as many as possible. And you would not know what happened because you are busy working, you don't have time to get to know your children anymore, and your children don't know you anymore. So you need to start looking at things from the point of view where you and your children come first. Let them say that you're lazy, you don't want to work. That's what you're lacking ambition. Not quite true. If you really have to recognize anything, recognize your right to make sure that your children are safe. Recognize your right to see to it that you are there for them, not some strangers, not people who care nothing about them. And you should be able to go into the school system and check up on your children to see how they're being looked after. That means that they have to, if they want to have you work, you're going to only have to work for a short time, and the rest of the time you have to spend with your family and finding out more about what is happening to your family. This is how you will keep them with their lives. This is how you have a society change its behavior and start treating people with more respect and dignity, whether you're old or young. Children need respect too, whether they are babies, adults, little children going to school, or adults. They need to be treated with respect. Everyone needs respect. In order for that respect to be able to flourish, everyone, they have to get it. They have to know what it is. They have to learn how to be treated properly. And everyone must be treating them with dignity and respect because that's what flourishes the qualities of everyone. And this is how they're able to pass it on. If all they're getting is evil, this is what they're going to pass on. They must be delicately protected, respected, and not rejected. Stop allowing kids to beat up on other kids and sending children to go with guns to kill. I would say the United States government is creating this problem. And Mr. Biden, I'm disappointed in you. I expected more from you. Y'all owe me in the billions from what you have done to my family, what you have done to me. And Mr. Biden, you got the job to be president. I helped you with that because you are the best bet that we have. But look at what you have done. You've turned on the same people that have believed in you. I don't believe in you anymore. You have showed me that you do not care about anybody except yourself. You used this lady to be your vice president. And so far, all you did was put a picture that was still for us to see. We did not get to speak to Kamala Harris. We did not get to speak to Nancy Pelosi. I could only drop information for her. And I'm disappointed in Nancy Pelosi very much because the kind of things that she's been setting up with the rest of the government that is causing problems on a lot of people and killing many. People didn't even realize that ones to put in jail is not the people who are doing this damage, is the ones who are setting them up to do it. And they are not on a win-win situation. They're on a win-lose situation. Either they do what they're being told by the government, or they're going to be put in jail because they're set up to do these things to the public that is being done to them. So it's time that the government starts recognizing that there are people who are seeing what they're doing. I can. I may not see it in person, but I see it in the information that I'm given from how they are behaving, how they're treating people, how they are conducting themselves in the public. And Mr. Biden showed me that he has now taken the sides of Nancy Pelosi, and it was a part of it all along. And to continue doing what he's doing. He was the right person to choose because Mr. Trump has no kind of merit in terms of the rights of other people. So anybody could control Trump. But Mr. Biden needed the information and the people around that was doing the right thing. And that's how you find out when people will do the right thing or not do the right thing. People should be able to go into a place and work and protect the ones that come first, the public. They are all supposed to be treated respectfully and responsibly without looking at a color to decide how you should treat someone and how you should persecute another because they're the wrong color. That has nothing to do with the person. What has to deal with the person is if how they're behaving, if they're committing crimes, if they're doing wrong. But no, the government is setting them up to commit crimes and then using the public to take them in to jail, and they have nowhere to turn to speak about it because the government is using other people to tell them what to do. And they're going along and doing it. But they can't show proof that it's the government who told the person who told them to do it. Start looking at the problems that are being created in your society. I don't know, I care whether you believe me or not. What I want you to do is start looking at the truth. Start speaking to people. Start recognizing the truth. Say nothing until you have all the facts. I don't have all the facts, but I do have a lot of it. And because I have a lot of it, I'm giving out what I know. Because it's important that human beings are treated with respect and dignity. They're driving people crazy and then calling them crazy. They're setting up certain people or certain nationalities to be terrorized in the background where other people don't know and don't see. And so they don't know why the person is the way they are. And because they have no parents around to protect them and respect them or teach them the values of life, the parents are busy working and they're also losing their values of life through the places that they're working in because they're corrupt. So changes need to be made for the people to get back their grade in quality and how they're treated and how they're treating others. I am going through a bad headache while speaking to you. Do you know why? Because the United States government is using Trump to terrorize my body, but attacking it from head to toe. Eyes included, nose, mouth, ears. I've been attacked in every place in my body, and every bone in my body has been removed and dropped back in the body, but not put in, not allowed it to go back where it belonged. Instead, it was sat on the top of my butt or on the top of my knee, and they pulled that in those kneecaps, Mr. Trump using the technology that was given to him by the United States government, Nancy Pelosi, and
the military.
Yes. Well,
But
the military couldn't give it to him without the United States government controlling them to do so or not. So the military can do that, but they can't do it without the okay of the United States government. You see, the United States government is a government. Any governments are governments who can control whatever they put out there. They put out the military. They are the ones who are telling the military what to do. So under those conditions, the only people that can be responsible for what is happening is the government in the United States and those who are doing whatever the United States governments tell them to do.
Yes, the military, they have their secret programs and operations, and unless you have clearance to get information about what they're doing, even the politicians will not know what in the world is going on. But
That's
I
right.
get your point.
That's right. Quite true.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why people, the public, all nationalities, must define what they're supposed to do. Don't think work makes them important and special and better than anybody.
Mm.
The ones who are not working, they are working without being paid. They are watching the society. They are looking at the wrongs that are being done by you.
Mm.
They are the ones who are trying to share with you the kind of hell that you're being put through, and what you're seeing is not what is really the true hell, is what is being done in the background by other nationalities, by not by the government, sorry, who is literally telling the different nationalities what to do to others and giving them the impression that they like them, and because they're being treated so well, they will do whatever the government tells them, even without being paid. So we have to look at things from the point of view where we can work with the government, but we have to watch the government closely. We can I can't work with the government, because if I work with the government, they will have to hear what I think about what is they're doing, and I will tell them straight out, and they can't handle that. That's one of the reasons that many people are not with the government, because they feel that if they start speaking about the government, people will start pointing at them as the bad egg, and you have to speak out, because if you don't, I went and rang an 888 place to get help, to get a lawyer, so that I can get the money that I have a right to from them killing out my family and doing other things to me. And yet, what they did was set up to make sure that I don't get the money. So when I rang the 888 people, one of the people told me that there was someone who would speak to me, the ring the following day. And I waited. The following day I rang, and the person came and told me that they cannot help me. I told them the problems that I was going through from the government of the United States, and that this is what they were telling me. Instead of dealing with the problem, they are helping the ones who are doing the damage to you and trying to kill you. And they allow you to take the fall while allowing the government to get away with what they're doing. Even though they're aware of it, they're still helping the government to get away with what they're doing. And when you practice that kind of behavior, all beings in the society are soon or later going to be attacked by that same kind of problems that their government is being allowed to get away with against the public. Without a public, there won't be a government. And the public needs to know that they need to stand up for their rights. And if it means that they don't go to work and protect their children in the children's rights, the children will not be tampered with, persecuted, and terrorized. And that's what's happening to children of color. That's what is happening to men of color. We are
Women too.
women also. Sure, sorry,
Yeah,
thank
okay.
you. And these are things that we have to look at. We have to get involved with what is going on, or we are literally destroying a whole society of people who have the ability to be great beings and are being terrorized, tormented, and tortured. Many of them are killed. Some you're aware of, and some you don't even know. It's time for people to start doing the right thing. The governments should be stopped. Because if you can get governments that have abilities to behave responsibly, and instead they're using those abilities to destroy people, rob them of their rights, rob them of their money, lie on them, set them up to go to jail, have them killed, all these different things are going on their behalf as governments. And Nancy Pelosi cares nothing about that. She's the one that was heading the scenario, and possibly President Biden too. But I know one thing, he's a part of it now. It's time for this kind of action to be changed for the rights of other people to live. And those who cannot deal with the right behavior and think that they have a right to control people need to get out of the government, because there shouldn't be a government if a government is going to be doing this damage to human beings, and children included. Rape, women, destroying children. Children are such beautiful human beings, and then lying and saying that I raped my baby sister. Big lies. Lies that were set up by the United States government. That's one of the reasons they did not try to speak to me or ask questions. Because if I had done something wrong, the first thing I would want to do as someone who is running a government or running any kind of um, business, I would want to ask questions so that I can find out what's going on. The government did not even try because they were the ones who set up the lies. I was too straightforward. So they wanted to make sure that they set it up so that I could look like the bad person. And so they've been using lots of people. They also created more problems than you could understand. And that's why they owe me in the billions. Because I've been tortured to the max.
Yes.
It's time for your government to stop lying and pay the money that they owe. And then they used Mr. Trudeau to come and ask questions. They did not ask me any questions. They still haven't. They didn't care. It was all about them and that they are now government so they can do whatever they want. And they did. They used many people to abuse me and my family. I saw my husband fighting for his life. I saw them trying, Mr. Trump using this technology that was given to him by the United States government to literally turn my husband into a quadriplegic.
Or stroke. He gave me use it to cause my body to
get a stroke.
A number of about 5 different
and
times.
His mouth, his hands, and his legs was just shaking. And the only way I can to help him is to grab him quickly by the waist, stifle that area so that he would not be able to pass that negative energy through his body. And I grabbed onto his hands while I was doing that. So I had his hands and his body hold as one and squeeze it as tight as possible until he could do nothing else but stop what he was doing so that my husband can get his life back.
That was the last time that he tried to paralyze my body with a stroke using that technology that doesn't belong on this planet because it has too many capabilities that human beings are not taught or trained to handle.
If you had seen what was taking place with his life, you would understand why you would be very, very worried when you see how the person's mouth, their whole body, head, middle body, arms, legs, shaking.
Yes.
Literally to try to turn him into something that he will be a vegetable.
Yes, paralyzed on the left side of my body.
And this same person came, they sent him to come and attack me when I'm having some kind of discussion with my husband. Sometimes a little bit angry. But the point is that if they weren't there and we weren't going through these twisted persecutions, we would not have been behaving that way. I have been terrorized all through the United States government streets, to and from work. Yeah. You should see what I went through. I'm coming from work and I'm being attacked under the feet. And I'm wondering what's happening. Why is my feet attacking? Why am I being attacked under the feet? And by what? I did not understand. And many other things that has been happening to me all through the process since that man has entered in the government's life and they have been telling him what to do to me.
Since you were born, actually, they have
but in the United States, though, I was talking
kill
about.
You, and you continued throughout your life.
Yeah. In the United States, they were terrorizing me. I forgot completely because you said that. Because you could remember faster than I can. But I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
And this has frustrated me at times to the point where I became angry. Yeah. That's what happens when you terrorize and torment people to the point where they have to get angry to protect themselves. Because if you didn't, you will go mad or you might fight back and do something that might hurt another, and I could not do that. Yeah. So I use my tongue and speak.
Yes.
And I tell people what I know that should not be done when I see them doing it. This is wrong. And all people have capabilities of behaving responsibly, and those that are above and given the job to be able government and is doing this damage to human beings should not be allowed. I would say that the United States government are the ones that should be put in jail rather than what they're doing, telling the police to hold their knees on the person's body until they die. Prejudice.
Mm.
Prejudice to the point they want to kill. Prejudice to the point that they want to kill out people of color. And we are the ones who gave them their lives, who gave them the look that they've got, and came and stole our property so that they can go around saying that they're superior to us.
Mm.
But you're not. Because you're Caucasian doesn't make you superior. You're showing that you're lacking in quality, and if you were superior, you would not be treating people as if they're less than you.
Mm.
People who behave as if they're superior to others are people who are lacking in understanding their own feelings, their own lives, and how they can treat others because they're their brothers and sisters, no matter what nationality they are. They are your brothers and sisters and should be treated as such.
As equals.
Equals.
Forever. Yes.
They're not junk.
No.
They're good people. But if you terrorize them to the point where they become angry enough and they don't care what they do, they're going to show you their angry self. It doesn't mean that they're junk. It just means that what you have put them through has created this problem for them. And it's time for you to stop setting up people to take all the wrong treatment when you are setting them up to become the way in which they're behaving, and then turning around and using people to taunt and persecute them to drive them mad so that you can show people that you're better than they are. If you were better, you wouldn't be doing that in the first place. And if these people were better, they will realize that there's a problem going on that is causing this problem for the people.
Mm.
No one will behave in such a manner without being terrorized and persecuted. So stop persecuting the ones that are being terrorized. Recognize that there's something going on that is happening to these people, and that they need protection, they need respect, and they need someone to care for them until they're better, and stop those who are being allowed the freedom or setting up by others to go and do damage to others. That's wrong.
Mm.
Not only wrong, it's a violation of the constitutional rights of human beings. No one has a right to be doing that. And if your government was so nice and kind, why are you going through these kind of problems when if there were no governments, you would not be going through this and people could not be told to go and persecute and terrorize each other? I used to hear that parents were doing that, their families were doing that to other people. That should not be going on, because if you're properly trained, you're trained not to do this kind of stuff. Once you're practicing it, it's in the family and it's wherever you were living before, or wherever you got it, gave you that behavior. So it's time for you to look at it and start realizing that because other people are doing that, it does not mean everyone else is. There are kind people out there who have been tormented and tortured too, and they are saying nothing, but they're trying to help in the process. I've seen so many different things. Someone trying to say that I'm interested in another guy because I'm looking at the designs that they're creating in houses. And a female comes up, she decides she's going to throw her body on him, and suddenly she's pregnant, kneeling down on the ground and acting as if I'm trying to steal her man. I wouldn't try to steal anybody's boyfriend or whatever they call them. I've never tried to do that, and I never will. Yeah. Even when I was looking beautiful, I did not do that to anyone. I treated them with respect. If they treated me with disrespect, I ignore them and move on. No time for wars, because wars is not going to accomplish anything. But time for treating people with respect and dignity will accomplish a great deal for the human race. Don't let people control your lives without knowing what kind of people that are trying to do it. If they're really doing it, no one will be tampered with and persecuted. On that note, my husband should be speaking now. Thank you very much for allowing me to be able to speak. because that's what we all have the ability to do, to
Yes.
be able to speak about our own feelings and the pain that we're going through
True.
and what others are doing to other people. If people don't know, they need to know, because this society is built with a whole lot of people that are being tormented and tortured.
Mm. Um, the Avatar came here on planet Earth as the one who lived as Lord Jesus 2,000 years ago. And she lived also as Lord Buddha 2,500 years ago. And lived also as Lord Krishna 5,200 years ago. Back on the planet to bring all beings of all life forms together so that the entire human race can
Can
live in a
connect.
state of harmony,
Mhm.
lasting peace, reverence for each other, for themselves, and for all members of the different life forms living on the outer surface of this planet, the Earth Goddess, Lady Gaia, a living being who's also uh, a senior member of the Committee of Gods, the same group that the Avatar is a member of. In fact, she is the one in charge of the Committee of Gods. And so she's here on
And
the
so is
planet.
Trump attacking me on the shoulder right now.
Mm.
Remember that.
Mm.
Donald J. Trump is using the technology that the United States government gave him to come and try to kill people like us, using the technology that is given him. And he's now attacking me right on the shoulder here with intentions of blocking me from speaking. Oh, I have no right to speak about what I know. And I'm going to speak about what I know, even if they are going to get killed. I'm going to speak about it.
Okay.
So remember, what you allow to take place is what you are allowing the government to get away with. Your governments in the United States are corrupt as hell, and they need to be given their freedom to get out of the government, because they are not government people, especially Nancy Pelosi and what she has done to my family, using Mr. Trump and Mr. Trudeau to kill out my family, and then turn around and do other damage that I cannot speak of to protect my family, some of my family.
Mm.
It's important that this is looked at and dealt with, because we are being violated night and day, especially me and our daughter sometimes.
Yes.
They put in, Mr. Trump's using the same technology to put scabs in my daughter's hair.
Mm.
He's also cut off all my hair and has been cutting it on an everyday basis, because my hair is growing hair, and it should be growing, and he is cutting it all off.
Yes.
Every time I see it grow, I can see the cuts that he has planted on it. I have a plait here that he cuts and make sure that the pieces are sticking out. They don't care. They don't care that they do it. But what they do care about is that I'm speaking about it. And that's why he attacks. And Mr. Trump should be put in jail, and he should be locked up deep. And if he is the type of person that is doing damage to the people in jail, they should kill him.
Mm.
He doesn't deserve to live. Anybody going around doing damage to human beings that has done nothing to them. He has done damage to my teeth. If you think I'm kidding, I can give you pictures of it.
Yes.
He's taken out my daughter's teeth in the back, both sides. She can't chew food.
Mm.
This is what he was doing to me in another place that I was staying. My daughter was, I don't know where she was. I can't remember.
He's
But I know one thing,
go ahead.
that he was setting it, having me go through extra pain, and I did not realize he was the one that was doing it. And I had to go and take out my teeth. I took out the two they had that he had the two in the back taken out, and then the other two in the front, four rather in the front, um, I couldn't take out. But they are extremely painful. And these two here, one here, he took a tooth from here and put it over here so that it would push my lip out. He's put dark things on my cheeks to make sure that I look as ugly as possible. This is the way in which he wants the Caucasian people to look as the most beautiful people in the world. And you know what he did to get that? attacking our skins, our faces, our hair, our eyes, our nose, our ears, to make sure we can see very well.
Mm.
So that when we look after ourselves, it's not being done properly because you can't see your face properly.
Yes.
You put on glasses, you can't see through the glasses properly. But he's stealing your glasses, he's stealing your shoes,
Yes.
he's stealing your food, he's stealing your clothes, he's stealing your underwears, he's stealing everything.
Yes.
Even your pens, your pencils, and your books.
Yes.
Your earrings. Stealing that cheap earrings I bought. He stole those. I had some good earrings, good gold. He stole everything I had.
Yeah. Your corset.
My corset.
Your black crystal.
Yes. My wigs.
Yeah.
Different things. This man has been stealing. And this man is the one who's coming to attack me for speaking about what he is doing while he continues to do more on an everyday basis.
Mm.
What do you think of this? Is that how people are supposed to live in a society? You know, I could have been fighting back and end up with one person dead. And what will happen? Y'all will call me a killer and put me in jail and hang me. That's the problem with your society. They do not have the development to understand the rights of other people, or this kind of stuff would not be going on in the first place. They're a part of it.
Mm.
They set it up. And they've set up Mr. Trump to go and annihilate many people that no one is speaking about today. If I knew about it, I definitely would be able to speak about it. But I do not, all I know is that a lot of people are being annihilated. People of color, African men, being blamed for things that Caucasian people are doing, and some of them are the government doing it. And they are blaming, they choose someone and blame them for it, put things in their pockets to make people believe that they are the ones doing it. You know how many people are taking this kind of situation happening to them by through police and other governments setting it up to destroy them?
Mm.
The police isn't doing it on their own. The police is being controlled by the government who is telling them what to do. And this technology, they're using Mr. Trump to use that technology on people that he wants them to kill so that they can now set up that same person who is doing it to go in jail and kill them out. They have a reason for killing them now.
Mm.
People who never would kill anybody, never would have been disrespecting anyone, are now being trained to do that by systems, governments that are using the systems to do what they want, to set up people to be killed.
And that's only the tip of the iceberg.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have a daughter that we have to protect, and our son, we haven't been able to see for a long time now. We are worried about him. He's a very beautiful human being, a genuine man. By now, when he left us, he was a boy.
Yeah. Teenager.
We are worried about him. We want to know that he's safe. We want to know that we can see him and know that he will be okay, and we can give him our love and support, whether he's a little boy or a little man. And whichever he is, we love him. And we want to know that we can see him. We haven't been able to see him. We don't even know where he lives. We've been trying to track him down, but haven't been able to do so.
Lives someplace in Ontario.
Yes.
Same province we live in Canada.
Yes.
We're a family whose members have been put through a life of continuous crisis, stress, trauma, terrorization, sleep deprivation,
torture.
For all of our life as a family, torture, torment, by people who are using a technology that, the same technology that's been used to attack the avatar since she was born, the day she was born, trying to kill her inside the maternity ward that she was born inside of, by an unseen government assassin. It's the same technology being used today to infect the bodies of about 143 million people, and killing about 2 million of them by unseen government agents who are wearing cloaks of invisibility. Allows them to teleport through the fourth dimension instantly, within seconds, and poison the mucus inside the bodies of human beings, causing them to become infected with what scientists have mistakenly called a virus. It's not a virus that's infecting your bodies or killing a number of you. It is mucus that is being poisoned by American assassins, including Donald J. Trump, who are moving through the fourth dimension looking like shadows and infecting the bodies of millions, in this case 143 million of you, with this technology that does not belong on this planet because it has vast fourth dimension capabilities. So we are sounding the alarm about what's being done to the avatar, the family, by Donald J. Trump and company, and also
And I was just being attacked under the foot.
what's being done to you, the people, by these same agents who are working for the American military and continue to create a global genocide across the planet with intention of killing 1/3 of the human race so that life on this planet can be sustainable. Because as the scientists have said in January of 2012, about 11,000 scientists said this planet cannot sustain the growing human population, and because the resources are being depleted and diminished, food, land, water, fuel, and more are depleting. And so the decision was made to remove about 1/3 of human beings from this planet. And they've been trying to do that since for a number of, for a long time now. And with the planet now having about 8 billion people living here, that plan to remove 1/3 of them means that about 2.5 million human beings have to die in the minds of these people who have orchestrated this global genocide for the rest of us to be able to live on planet Earth.
While they control you?
Mhm.
Some more?
Yes. So the idea that human beings
Hilarious.
can make themselves behave as if they're gods with what, no wisdom, that is not only blasphemous, it's
They're lacking
dangerous
it too.
and destructive.
Big deal. Big
Oh yes, yes,
big time.
yes.
I mean they should not be allowed to run anything when you can turn so quickly on the public.
Mhm.
You don't deserve to be running any country when you're doing damage to the public. Mistreating children for being a color, abusing human beings for being a different nationality,
Mm.
and robbing people of their hair, setting them up to look badly so that you can set them out in the public while people are saying, nah, they don't belong here, get rid of them. Why? Because someone else do this damage to them and have them looking the way they are, and you are now deciding because you don't have the intelligence to realize that these things are happening to a lot of people, even when they don't even know that it's being done to them.
Mm.
Sorry, darling. Go
Oh
ahead.
no, we're sounding the alarm and asking every true seeker for truth, working as guardians of the free press, especially to provide the opportunity for these two people, the God who lived as Lord Jesus and the one who lived, and her husband lived, who lived as Albert Einstein about 65 years ago, to help us to provide information to human beings. It's unconventional, it's mind expanding, alarming, and paradigm shifting. But you need to have this information so that you can start connecting the dots about what's being done to you in the world you live in as mortal beings by people who have made themselves lords and masters over your lives, livelihoods, your assets, your hopes, dreams, and future.
That's right.
From the cradle to the grave. And so we're here, and the avatar is here to bring each of you a new perspective on who you are, what you are, where you came from, why you're here, and the abilities you own that you can use to start to change the world you live in starting from the inside.
Oh,
As the Abbot says, you must do your inventory.
yes.
Hmm?
You must do your homework. Go
Mhm.
into your inventory and check everything. Everything that you remember that has been done to you will show you. And then what you don't remember after a period of time, as you keep going in and checking out the stuff that you've been going through, more will show themselves after a while because they happened to you already and you couldn't remember. So now you, because you're going into it and beginning to look at the different things that has been done to you, you'll start seeing the rest of it. And then you will be understanding exactly why these things should not be allowed and the damage that is done to a lot of human beings because of these people and their ignorance and thinking that they have a right to do whatever they want to human beings. If they only took the time to put themselves in the place of those people that they're doing this damage to, they'll realize that this should not be done.
Mm. Most of what you've been taught and raised to hold as truths by the people in the world in which you live is a body of misinformation, disinformation, misconception, and lies
Yeah.
taught to you by those who have decided that you don't have the right to own your life, to live your life, and to access the wealth of spiritual treasures that the God of all gods, who is right here, put inside every life form for them to use to live the way that they have a right, ability, and responsibility to do. So we're encouraging you to find the courage,
In your heart.
yes, to look at your habits, your tendencies, your values, your beliefs, and other parts of your existence to find out, as Jaffa says, begin to look at the problem,
Squarely in the eye.
be honest and true,
Because you should not lie.
find out where it came from,
And why it arrived.
and see what it is that you're doing,
That is keeping it alive.
plant the correct solutions
Inside your mind.
of how
How you
you
should
should
think
and behave when you
in
meet this same problem again the
the
next
next
time.
time
Do this inventory
of your life
each,
and every day.
and
And
you
you
will
will find
find that the problems
that
that
live inside you
will
will
be
be
swept
swept away,
away,
just like the problem
dust, just
that
like
you
the
sweep
dust.
from your home each day.
And that's from one of her sacred songs called A New Way of Being.
Yes.
So you are treasures. You're not mortal beings who come here once and you leave and you go to a paradise if you're lucky, or a prison they call hell. You are immortals.
And you weren't born evil.
Mm.
You were born with the greatest amount of gifts that anybody can have.
Mhm.
And all you had to do was be trained properly, and the rest of it, you'll get access to
Mhm.
yourselves. You're great beings. When you're trained, understand yourself more clearly, and others are being trained in the same manner, you won't find evil around. You'll find great beings around like you. And you can work together and achieve goals that you never thought you could.
Mm. So we're here to help you to connect the truth, connect the dots about your true identity. You're mortals living mortal lives as members of the human race. Your nature is not flawed and defective.
Evil or anything. It's not true.
It's perfect.
But it becomes that way when there are those who do not know what to do with themselves and they start looking for ways in which they could create problems and do that damage to you and others. And in the process, this is what you have for a society where everyone is suffering indignity behavior and all kinds of atrocities that are taking place around them and to them, through them, and that's not something that works.
Mm.
We need the qualities so that everyone will be able to attach themselves to the qualities of life and become a true form of life and become godlike after a period of time.
Mm.
Your greatness requires that.
Mm. You're and the Avatar teaches you, or she's trying to teach you, you're beings of
Live in light
wearing mortal clothes
of flesh and bones
that you put on at birth.
to walk the face of the earth, one life, at a time.
Yes.
And you're not going, when you die, you're not finished completely. You're just leaving for now. But you need to come back into a world that is not dying, but instead growing beautifully, where everyone feels safe and everyone is achieving great goals. And because of it, you have a great world that you're living in because everyone is doing the right thing. There's nothing wrong with doing the right thing, but there's something right with doing the making sure that whatever you're doing is right and helpful to yourself. And if it's helpful to yourself in the right way and it harms no one, it's helpful to everyone else and it will harm no one in the process of their development. Because you were taught to be the way you are right now. It's not your fault. Those who knew differently and wanted to do damage to control everybody, they started doing this kind of stuff. So start looking at things from a point of view where you do not have to live this way and that you're capable of much greater things than you're allowed the freedom to practice or recognize. So start thinking, let mommy and daddy teach you the right way, and when you're being taught the right way, you will feel it. Your internal will feel much happier. Your mother's and father's internal will feel much greater, and they will be able to share with other beings and show a whole society, a world of people that will be able to be there for each other without any harm. Good luck on your journey.
And if you're adult, then you have to start using what the Advocate calls your greater self. The being inside you that is, call it your oversoul, the God part of yourself. And then she teaches you have to merge your ego with
your
the greater
greater
self.
self.
And then you can start to use your life to serve the greater good
Yes.
of all of life and all life forms in life. And then transform the world on the outside
To the inside.
to reflect the heavenness or the paradise that you have inside your heart and mind that was given to you by your creator an eternity ago. Hmm. You've been watching
A New Way of Being,
hosted by
Avatar Galextra,
with Andregon on her YouTube channel, Avatar Hope and New Way of Beings. Sorry. If you like the content of what you've heard, if it resonates with you, then we encourage you to click the button on the right to subscribe to this channel. Um,
blessings to you. And we wish you all the best. Be there for each other. Don't hurt each other. It's the worst thing we can do to anyone. When we are there for each other in the right way, you will see changes that are going to grow to help the whole society to live in a better way. Not in a way that undermines anyone, but upgrades everyone. Good luck to you,
See you next time.
and we wish you the best. Thank you for listening.